Well, thank you very much for welcoming me. The InZone project began as a continuing education course for interpreters working in Iraq, and it became clear to us that bringing interpreters to Geneva to train them would not allow us to reach the numbers that were needed in conflict zones. And since we had quite a bit of competence already in virtual learning, we decided to design a program that would allow us to train interpreters in conflict zones. We very quickly focused on humanitarian field interpreters, leaving aside all other interpreters working in those areas. We delivered courses, the first two we delivered to interpreters working for the International Committee of the Red Cross. We evaluated those courses very carefully, and we decided that we could not just work virtually, that we needed to come into the field, we needed to learn more about the real needs, real communication needs in humanitarian contexts, and that we needed to train or divide the training into a part that was delivered in the field and a continuation that was going to be offered online.
So is this office associated only with conflict zones?
At present, the office covers, first and foremost, that part of our mission that deals with the training of humanitarian interpreters in conflict zones. The office will, however, also use its competence in virtual learning and try and develop ways in which higher education can be brought into conflict zones, into refugee camps, to those populations who are less privileged and who would normally not be able to access higher education.
How many countries have you covered so far, and what has been the impact or achievements?
Our focus so far has indeed been the Horn of Africa, and I believe, unfortunately, for a reason, because we have quite a few conflicts in this part of the world. We have, however, also trained interpreters we are still training interpreters in Afghanistan for UNAMA, for example, human rights and rule of law field interpreters. We have also had interpreters in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, in Gaza, so we have covered quite a few countries already. The main purpose of the office here is certainly to bolster, to reinforce our presence in this part of the world where we have been most active and will continue to be most active, to use the presence within the compound of the United Nations here to create synergies between the realization of humanitarian objectives, the realization of Millennium Development Goals in education, for example, to bring our own competence to share with you and to work closely together with you, because we believe we all share the same objectives ultimately. We have a fairly varied student body. Those students that you saw today are refugees. They work for UNHCR here in Nairobi and are an integral part of the implementation of refugee law, starting from refugee status determination interviews all the way up. It is true, however, that those who received their certificates for the basic course today are not quite sure what their future will hold for them. They might be resettled, and many of our students have already been resettled to other countries. And the feedback that we receive is that the skills that they've acquired in the basic course have stood them to good use in their new home country, so to speak. And I think this is really what we are most proud of, that we are able to impart life skills and that we're able to help them once again to build a life and a career and continue their learning. At this point, there's still a certain lack of clarity in terms of the details of how we are going to make use of this office, because, as you know, the InZone project and the center is located at the University of Geneva in Switzerland. Nevertheless, despite the fact that we are engaged in virtual learning, we do need to be in the field. We do need to be close to those places where we offer education and educational opportunities. Our goal is between now and the 1st of January 2014 to have one person in the office on a permanent basis to reach out and continue the part of the mission that has been our most important objective, is training the field interpreters. And second, create the synergies within the United Nations office here in Nairobi in order to explore challenges in humanitarian action, challenges in the field, how our knowledge and our competence can help the United Nations become efficient in carrying out its mandate. But also learning from you, learning from how you have faced the challenges, the mistakes that have been made and the achievements that you have celebrated, so that I think hand in hand we can together become more efficient and reach our objectives jointly. For the basic course, the only thing that is required is that you're active as a humanitarian field interpreter and that you have at least 2 languages. Now, most of our students, and you have heard that today, have more than 2 languages, so there was an impressive array of languages. That is the only qualification for the basic course. There is a next level that will be launched in January 2014, and it is an advanced certificate course. And for that course, they will have to have a university admission, they will have to have a certificate in hand already that allows them to take a university level course. And it will be a university level certificate at that point. So we're hoping that since they have acquired the skills now, or some basic skills, but have also acquired skills in virtual learning, that was incidental. But they became proficient in virtual learning. That has opened a whole new world for them. There is so much out there that they can access now because they have experience. And that is really also one of our objectives, to help them gain access to other sources of learning and keep motivating them. Because I believe in our knowledge-driven society, it is knowledge that is ultimately going to guarantee a career beyond the hardship that you have endured.